The final chapter of Yumi's Cells is almost here. With Season 3 just around the corner, it's the perfect time to dive back into Yumi's bustling mind and give our own love cells a major refresher. Season 1 introduced us to Kim Yumi, an ordinary office worker stuck in a mundane loop. After a devastating breakup 3 years prior, her love cell actually fell into a coma, having been completely washed away in a flood of tears. Things start to shift when Yumi develops a crush on her handsome and younger colleague, Ugi. Her cells go into overdrive trying to win him over, but Ugi isn't into women. Instead, he wants to set Yumi up on a blind date with his close friend. Enter Gu Wong, a blunt, slightly fashion-challenged, but incredibly warm-hearted indie game developer. He falls for her instantly, and his goofy, straightforward approach slowly chips away at Yumi's defenses. Thanks to his genuine efforts, Wong manages to awaken Yumi's love cell, and we finally get to watch her open her heart again and move past her insecurities. From there, their romance really blossoms. We watch them navigate the awkwardness of dating and the absolute joy of a new connection. But of course, it's not all smooth sailing. Their lack of open communication often gets them into minor hiccups. But their first major hurdle comes from Wong's colleague and longtime female friend, Sae-Yi. Harboring lingering feelings for Wong, Sae-Yi constantly crosses boundaries, causing a massive rift that almost breaks our couple apart. Ultimately, Yumi stands her ground, confronting them both and calling out Sae-Yi's manipulative behavior. Wong finally steps up, draws a firm line, and Sae-Yi ends up leaving his company. They face another huge challenge when Wong's game studio hits severe financial trouble, forcing him to sell his apartment. Driven by his pride, he hides the fact that he's broke and living in his office. When Yumi finds out, she tearfully insists he move in with her. Surprisingly, their cohabitation turns out to be wonderful, bringing them closer than ever. Yumi naturally brings up the topic of marriage. Her cells are eager for a future with him, but Wong, heavily burdened by his financial situation, completely shuts down. Yumi takes his painful silence as a no, and never mentions it again. Around this time, Yumi develops a friendship with Babi, a colleague from the marketing department, who happens to live in her neighborhood. Even though Yumi is totally loyal, Babi's mere presence plants a seed of insecurity in Wong. From here on out, the cracks that our couple had been ignoring really start to show. Ashamed to be freeloading off his girlfriend, Wong decides to move out, despite how happy they were living together. But as is the running theme with Wong, he completely shuts himself off, instead of explaining how he truly feels, and in the process ends up pushing Yumi away. The slow erosion of their relationship is realistic and painful, eventually leading them to take a break. During this time, we get a pivotal dream sequence where Yumi visits her mind's bulletin board. She asks her cells when she'll get her happy ending with her leading man. The response is a powerful message we all needed to hear. There is no male lead. You are the only lead of this story. Finally, Yumi and Wong meet at a cafe. While Yumi quietly hopes he might ask to stay together, Wong hands her a breakup card. The most frustrating part? Despite the visible pain they are both in, neither of them actually opens up about their true feelings, and doesn't talk about what really broke between them. Yumi is now forced to follow his lead, accepting the card and officially ending their relationship. Season 2 opens with Yumi deep in heartbreak after her split with Wong. Her cells are dealing with a flood of negative emotions, and her love cell is once again battered and bruised. But then, Babi steps in. Unlike the blunt and awkward Wong, Babi is attentive, gentle, and refreshingly straightforward. When he asks Yumi out shortly after her split, it initially sends her cells into a total panic. However, his quiet persistence and genuine care eventually melt her defenses. As her love cell heals, Babi establishes a literal fan club inside Yumi's mind, kicking off a sweet and seemingly perfect romance. Babi isn't just a great boyfriend, he is Yumi's biggest cheerleader. He continuously acknowledges Yumi's writing skills and even encourages her to pursue it. Empowered by his unwavering support, Yumi makes the terrifying leap to quit her stable job and become a full-time writer. The transition isn't easy. She battles financial stress and the sting of multiple failures and rejection. But her perseverance pays off when a publishing company finally notices her work and offers her a major publishing deal. Just as the couple celebrates their first anniversary, a major hurdle threatens their peace. Babi is promoted and transferred to the Jeju branch, forcing them into a long-distance relationship. Enter Yu Da-eun, a young, cheerful, and endearingly clumsy intern who quickly develops a massive crush on him. While Babi initially draws a firm line, Da-eun's eventual confession causes an earthquake in his mind, a momentary wavering of his feelings. For Yumi, whose trust in him was absolute, discovering this subtle emotional betrayal is a deal-breaker. Choosing her own self-respect over a damaged relationship, she bravely breaks up with Babi. Back in her single era, Yumi channels all her energy into her career, and her writer cell steps up to become her prime cell. During this time of personal growth, she crosses paths with Gu Wong, who is now a successful game studio CEO. Having achieved the status he always felt he needed to be worthy of her, Wong tries to win Yumi back. Fate, however, isn't quite done with Yumi and Babi. They reconnect, realize how much they miss each other, and decide to give their relationship another shot. Babi even proposes, and for a fleeting moment, it looks like they might be endgame. Wong sets a meeting with Yumi to personally congratulate her on her engagement. Just as they were about to part, he asks Yumi if she truly loves Babi. We get our answer when Yumi sees Da-eun calling Babi's phone shortly after. Clarity sets in. Yumi realizes the magic is gone. Even her love cell no longer feels that fiery, passionate spark, and for the final time, Yumi and Babi amicably break up. Despite both heartbreaks, Yumi walks away with a profound realization. Ending a romance doesn't erase the meaningful connection you shared with someone. The season wraps up with Yumi absolutely thriving, celebrating finishing her final manuscript as a successfully published author. Yumi has loved, lost, grown, and discovered her true passion, firmly cementing herself as the hero of her own story. But her story is far from over. As we head into the third and final season, Kim Yumi is now a celebrated romance novelist. Yet, having achieved her major goals, her cells have fallen into a comfortable but lifeless slumber, until someone new steps into the picture. Enter Shin Soon-rak, a brilliant but seemingly cold publishing director. He operates strictly on facts, logic, and clear boundaries, thriving as a complete homebody who is perfectly content being alone. But as Yumi's vibrant energy begins to seep into his carefully structured world, the lines he drew start to blur, and he finds himself irresistibly falling for her. Get ready, because Yumi's ultimate happily ever after is just beginning to unfold.